Okay, welcome back to the last video here. We are looking at exporting our results. We now do have a nice classification of water, vegetation and non-vegetation. Now we want to export our results. So we're going to add a new process to the process tree. And if you go down here, the list, we have a whole section of different export functions. Classification, view, existing vector layer, HTML to PDF, image, so raster, object statistics, project statistic, thematic raster files, and so on. We want to export our result as a shapefile, so we have to choose export vector layer. Now what's important in domain is that you choose the right level. In our case we only have one level, so that can stay as it is. The class filter, we select the three classes that we have classified: non-vegetation, vegetation, water. And that's all you have to define in the domain in our case. So all these three classes are the classes that we want to export. Let's start here in the algorithm parameters at the bottom, export format. You can choose between those formats. Let's go for shapefile. Then shape type is important: point, lines, polygons. Let's go to polygons. Export type, there is raster and smooth. Raster is exactly the outline of the image objects that you have in your project, so I'm gonna leave that as it is. Then attributes, we can export or append to the attribute table any attributes that are within eCognition. What I wanna append is the mean NDVI. So we're gonna have a column that is depicting the mean NDVI and the NDWI. That's going to be another column. And what is very important is that we have also the class name. So we want to have, of course, a column with the class name for each polygon. And you're going to find, or you have to append that feature, and you're going to find it under object features, class, assigned class. Simply add this one to the selected side. Hit OK, then this window pops up, edit attribute table columns. Here you could change the name, the type, and so on. That's going to be the name of the column. Assigned class, maybe call it simply class, and so on. Okay, that's going to be in mean NDVI. That's okay. So hit OK here. And then at the top, the export settings here. You can choose between static, dynamic export item, use explicit path, use temporary layer. I highly recommend to leave the default settings as it is. And what it will do, actually, it will create, if you have saved your project already, it will create a results folder in the directory of your workspace. And it will name the shapefile based on your project name and the project version. So in my case, it would be my first project, and extension, it would add the shapefile. So let's leave it like that. If you haven't saved the project yet, and if you save the project, you have to create a workspace, and then you also have a workspace. But if you haven't done that yet, then it will be stored in the directory of the input files. Okay, so if you leave it default, it's transferable. That's what we want to have. So let's leave those settings, hit execute. And in my case, I simply go to the folder where I save my workspace, and you're going to see there's the workspace file. We do have a DPR folder where all the projects that you have in your workspace are stored within. And then we have this results folder. This one was created based on this export definition that we have used, so the default settings. Again, it's going to create this results folder in the directory of the workspace. Then we have the object shapes folder. That's the folder that holds our shapefile. And here you see the naming, my first project, version 8 in this case, .shp. And to check if that worked, I simply drag and drop it into the project and you can display it. So I'm going to give it yellow outline, increase the width, and you see we have vectors that are really representing the outlines of our objects. You also, if you use the thematic layer attribute table, you also can display the attribute table. And we should have 3 columns, right? Class, water, blah, blah, mean, NDVI, mean, NDWI. You also can sort those via clicking on them. And if you click onto one entry, it also gonna zoom to the extent of that polygon, which is very neat. Okay, so thank you very much for watching this one. Now you have exported your results. We created a dynamic rule set that you can alter at any time and rerun it, and then also apply it on a different scene, and you should get solid results. Maybe one last thing, saving the rule set. This rule set is saved within the project, but if you want to save the rule set, simply right click in here and choose Save Rule Set. That's it. Take care and hopefully hear you or see you in one of the next videos.